So you got your first $1,000 to invest. First off, congratulations. That's a huge step. But now what? It can feel like you're standing at a crossroads with 1,000 signs all screaming different directions. You've got an S&P 500, crypto, and a dozen experts on the internet all giving you their 2 cents. It's stressful, and that fear of making a wrong move, it's totally real. The paralysis is understandable. Do you listen to the person telling you to YOLO it all on a high risk stock, or the one telling you to just let it sit in a savings account where it feels safe? The truth is, most of the advice is just noise and it isn't built for a beginner who is just trying to get their foot in the door. Hi, I'm Emily, your big sister in finance and the founder of Sora, where we make personal finance clear, relatable, and actually useful for young women figuring out life and money together. If this is something you're into, then keep watching and hit the like and subscribe button. And welcome to Sora. So, in this video, I'm going to give you the exact beginner proof 3 step blueprint I would personally use to turn my first $1,000 into a real foundation for wealth 2025, 2026 with maximum growth and minimum stress. This isn't about gambling or get rich quick nonsense. This is about building a real sustainable financial future, starting today with what you have right now. Look, I've spent years in the investing world. I've made my own dumb mistakes and I've learned from them, so you don't have to. I've built a multi 6 figure portfolio not by chasing hype, but by sticking to a clear, repeatable system. And the core of that system is exactly what I'm about to share with you. This isn't just theory from a textbook, it's the practical, proven strategy that actually works. We have to talk about the why. Why isn't this investing your first $1,000 so critical? It's not just about making your money grow, it's about protecting it from the single greatest financial enemy, inflation. Think about it. That cash you've got sitting in the standard bank account losing a little bit of value every single day. The price of everything from your morning coffee to your rent is pretty much always going up. That's inflation. If your money isn't growing faster than inflation, you are effectively getting poorer over time. Your dollar just won't stretch as far next year as it does today. And this isn't a small thing. Even a low inflation rate grinds away at your wealth. Investing is your best weapon to fight back. While a savings account might pay for some interest, the historical average return of the stock market has been around 8 to 10% annually. Now, let's be real, that's not a guarantee every year. We've seen volatile years like 2022 when the market went down. But over the long haul, that's a return that just doesn't keep up with inflation. It crushes it, letting your money grow for real. But the even bigger why is a little concept that Albert Einstein supposedly called the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. This is the magic that happens when your investment earnings start earning their own earnings. It's a total snowball effect for your money. Let me make it super clear. Imagine that you invest that $1,000. Let's say it earns an 8% return in the first year. Boom, you have $1,080. The next year, you don't earn 8% on your original $1,000. You earn it on the new total of $1,080. So you make $86.40. And your new total is $1,166.40. The year after that, you earn interest on that whole amount. It seems small at first, but over time, this creates an exponential growth curve that can change your life. The most important ingredient here is time. The earlier you start, the crazier the growth becomes. Someone who invests $1,000 at age 25 will have dramatically more wealth by age 65 than someone who invests the same $1,000 at age 35. That's why starting now with your first $1,000 is way more important than waiting until you have $10,000. You're giving your money the one thing it needs most to grow: decades of runway. So let's stop letting inflation eat our lunch and start putting our money to work. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty, the exact breakdown of how I'd invest that first $1,000. We're going to use 3 simple buckets. This isn't random, it's a strategic plan to balance safety, growth, and your own peace of mind. Our whole strategy revolves around ETFs or exchange traded funds. Think of an ETF as a big basket holding hundreds or even thousands of different stocks. Instead of gambling on picking the one winning company, you just buy the entire basket. This gives you instant diversification, a fancy way of saying you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's the smartest, safest way for a beginner to get started. And then here is the three-part plan. Part 1, the foundation. $500 in the S&P 500 ETF. The first and biggest chunk of your money, 50% is going to go into the bedrock of your portfolio. We're putting $500 into an S&P 500 ETF. So what is that? The S&P 500 is just a list of the 500 largest, most stable public companies in the US. We're talking about the titans you know and use every day. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Google. These are the giants of the American economy. When you buy an S&P 500 ETF, you're buying a tiny piece of all 500 of those companies in one shot. It's like betting on the whole all-star team to win the championship instead of trying to guess which single player will be the MVP. Some companies will have great years, some will be so so. But historically, the combined power of these 500 giants has consistently driven the market up over the long term. This part of your portfolio is for steady, reliable, long term growth. We're not trying to time the market. That's a fool's game. The motto here is time in the market beats timing the market. By investing broadly and just holding on, you ride out those bumps, let the US economy do the heavy lifting for you. Popular examples of these ETFs are BOO or IVB. They're perfect for beginners because they are incredibly diverse and have super low fees. So, this $500 is going to be your anchor. It's your commitment to proven long term growth. All right, so now part 2, international stocks. Now that the foundation is poured, we can add global horsepower. The next 30% or $300 is going to go into an international stocks ETF. Here's why. The S&P 500 covers US companies, but the world is a lot bigger than just the US. In fact, over 80% of the global population and nearly half of the global stock market value are outside the US. By only investing domestically, you're missing massive opportunities for growth in places like Europe, Japan, and especially emerging markets such as India or Brazil. Diversifying globally helps protect you from what's called the home country bias, that natural tendency we all have to assume our own economy will always dominate. But history shows that leadership rotates. Decades ago, Japan was one of the strongest stock markets. In the 2000s, emerging markets like China and Brazil outperformed. The US has been on top recently, but there's no guarantee that'll last forever. And by investing in international stocks through a broad ETF, you're making sure your portfolio isn't dependent on a single country's future. It's like having a team where not every player is from the same hometown. You get the strengths of different economies, currencies, and industries all working for you. Great beginner friendly ETFs for this bucket include VXUS or IXUS, which gives you exposure to thousands of companies around the globe in one purchase. This $300 is your ticket to spreading your risk and tapping into global growth. All right, so part 3 is going to be your safety net, $200 into bonds. The final piece is arguably the most important for a beginner because it tackles the number one fear, losing money. The final 20% for $200 is going to go into bonds. So, what are bonds? Think of them as boring, steady cousin of stocks. When you buy a bond, you're essentially lending money to a government or a company, and in return, they pay you interest. Bonds don't have the same explosive growth potential as stocks, but they shine in one key way: stability. When the stock market gets rocky, and it will at times, bonds often act as a buffer. They don't usually swing up and down as dramatically, which helps smooth out the ride for your portfolio. For a beginner, this cushion is critical. It gives you a peace of mind and lowers the chance of panic and sell when stocks dip. ETFs make this super easy. A broad bond ETF like BND or AGG spreads your money across thousands of bonds, giving you instant diversification and steady, predictable returns. This $200 isn't about making you rich, it's about protecting your mental game. It's the safety net that makes the whole investing plan more sustainable for the long run. Okay, so where do I actually do this? Let's talk about accounts. Okay, so you have the blueprint. You're investing internationally, you're investing in the S&P 500, you're investing in bonds, but where does this all happen? You need the right accounts and this step is crucial. All right, so you're going to need a brokerage account, but I strongly suggest a special type of account, a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a retirement account with a mind blowing tax advantage. Here's the deal: if you put your money in, you've already paid taxes on it, but once it's in there, it grows completely 100% tax free. And when you take it out in retirement, you won't owe a dime in taxes on all those decades of growth. This is a massive, massive win compared to a standard brokerage account where you'll pay capital gains tax on your profits. And if your job offers a 401k with a company match, that's also an amazing choice, especially for the match, which is free money. But for your first $1,000, a Roth IRA is a phenomenal tool. Think of it as a special tax proof greenhouse for your investments. You plant the little ETF seeds inside, and then the government can't take a cut of your harvest down the road. All right, so what about investing in yourself? You might have heard a different take. Some people say that with your first $1,000, the best return comes in investing in yourself. Buying a course, getting a certification, learning a high income skill. And I want to be 100% clear, they're not wrong. Investing in your skills to boost your income is one of the most powerful moves you can ever make. The ability to earn more is what will let you invest not just the $1,000, but tens of thousands over time. However, I don't see this as an either or choice. It's a both and strategy. The plan I just laid out does something incredibly important. It gets you in the game. It builds the habit of investing. It starts the clock on compound interest. It sets up the financial infrastructure and brokerage and savings account that will serve you for life. It takes investing from a scary, abstract idea and makes it a concrete, manageable part of your life. So, my advice: execute this $1,000 plan today. Get your financial foundation set. While that money starts, it's this long, slow journey of compounding, and then you shift your focus to increasing your income. Use your next paycheck or save up your next $1,000 for that coding boot camp or those books on sales. By doing both, you create a powerful 1-2 punch for building wealth. Your investments grow passively in the background while you are actively increasing your earning power to pour more fuel on the fire. Don't choose, do both. All right, so let's recap the game plan. With your first $1,000, $500 is going to go into S&P 500 ETF for your stable long-term foundation. $300 goes into international stocks ETFs to give you that global diversification and growth beyond just the US. And $200 is going to go into bonds for stability and peace of mind so you can ride the ups and downs of the market. This isn't just a random mix, it's a complete beginner proof strategy that balances growth, safety, and diversification. You're protecting yourself from inflation, setting yourself up for compound growth, and spreading your bets across not just industries, but the entire world. Now that you have the plan, the next step is to get those accounts open. To help with that, you should watch my other video on the best brokerage accounts for beginners, which I will link below. It walks you through the platforms and how to set it up in less than 15 minutes. Thanks for investing your time with me. Now, go start your journey. And as always, check us out on TikTok and Instagram for daily money tips to get you on the right path towards financial freedom. Head to our website. You can get a free money basics guide. Check out our blog posts and get the ultimate money guide so you can master your finances for real. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. How are you planning on investing? I read every single comment and I am always here rooting for you. See you in the next video.